Well, good morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. We're in the workshop here today, and we're going to be working on the rototiller. This is my winter project that I said I would actually get done during the winter months. So today, because it's miserable and cold outside, I'm actually going to work on this. Now, we don't use the tiller for this tiller anyways for a whole bunch of stuff, but my wife did have a landscaping project that definitely shovels and pickaxes wasn't working for me. So I thought I'd try and take the rototiller in there and just break it up a little bit and then shovel the loose soil away. And that was the plan anyways. It didn't work out. It didn't work out because after about an hour of doing that, oil started shooting out of the air filter, which is pretty indicative that I've blown a piston ring and this motor is toast. And like it was done. Banging, knocking, making all the noises, oil spewing out. It was absolute Armageddon for this thing. Now I bought this a number of years ago. I want to say like 2000, maybe about 2012, 2013, I think, when we had a little garden in town. And I paid $25 for it. I got it at an auction sale. It was brand new. It still had the tag on it from when it had been purchased the year before. And the previous owner had never been able to get it started. And so the guys at the auction mart, they were pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. And again, could never get it started. Classic Briggs and scrap iron problem, right? So what do? You take out the spark plug, make sure it's nice and clean, put a little drop of gas inside the cylinder, fire it off, pull, away it goes. But over the years, this thing has that problem has always existed. It's always been a very unreliable motor in terms of, ease of starting. And well, I've been done for a lot of years, but the fact of the matter is today, this thing is coming off. This is a 210cc Briggs & Stratton engine, and now we're going to be putting on this Green Power America engine. It's a 208cc engine as well. I got from Princess Auto. This motor, I was just walking through Princess Auto the one day, and I saw that thing, and it said I think it was like $58 or something like that. I'm like, that's got to be wrong. And I went up to the till, and the price came up, and I think it was like $180 or something like that. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure, like the sign said $58. And she says, no, like it can't be. But she went and checked, and sure enough, they were on sale for $58. So I got out of there pretty quickly with this, thinking that, even if it doesn't fit on the rototiller, I'll find something to put this on. A boat, a skidoo, a go-kart, something. This is gonna go for $58. I just can't leave it on the shelf. I brought it home, and it looks like it should fit right on the rototiller. So that's awesome. So first thing I got to do is pull this guard off here and check out the pulleys on the belts, because that shaft size, where are we at here? Right here is going to dictate if the rest of this project is a go. Now, if all goes according to plan, I should be able to do this with 2 wrenches, a 1/2 inch and a 7/16. Need a 7/16 to pull the belt guard off. I don't know what I'm going to need to get the pulley off. That's yet to be determined. But then a 1/2 inch to get the motor mounts off front and back here. I actually brought this thing in last night into the shop. It had been parked outside by the dumpster because there was actually a time when I was thinking this thing is such a piece of you-know-what that I might just either throw it right in the dumpster or throw it in the back of my pickup and just haul it right to the landfill. But, like I said, it only cost me $25 at an auction. I better just set these aside somewhere else where I don't lose them. So for $25, I'm able to get, my garden worked up. I blow the motor like 7 or 8 years later. And then for $58, I replace that motor. This machine sells brand new for $521. So I'm not even close to what it costs to get one of these. So I'm ahead of the game no matter what here. So Charlotte thinks I broke it here, but I just pulled these 2 mounting nuts off the side of this guard, and I was trying to pull it off. It wasn't coming off because somewhere underneath here, right there, you can see it. There's another nut in there that I'm gonna have to take off. Are you driving the rototiller? What noise does it make? You don't know? Does it go brum, 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 brum? Yeah. Well, anyways, we got the side guard off, and it looks like the shaft is the same size. I've got obviously some hardware and cider pulleys and whatnot to pull off here, just to get all of this completely off before I start working on motor mounts. But I got to get this assembly off, and so there is 1 3/4 inch here that I got to pull off, and I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully this stud right there will just slide off that shaft entirely, and I'll be able to pull that and install on the new motor without too much in the way of shenanigans. Unfortunately, that 3/4 inch bolt is super tight, so we're gonna get a little bit of a persuader, the old rubber mallet, and I'll just be tapping on the open end head of the wrench right here to get that broke free. There we go. Perfect. So I pulled this 3/4 inch head bolt. I think it's about a 1/2 inch actual, the bolt width, right out of this carrier here. I just got to pop out the belts from the idler pulleys, get that stuff clear, and then slide all this stuff off and away. And yeah, look at that. Just like that. I can just roll that stuff to the side. That can stay right there. Now, be a matter, should be a set screw right there. Yep. So I'll get an Allen key, pop that set screw loose, and hopefully I don't need a gear pull or anything like that to get this off this shaft. But I'll get this pulled off, and then we'll be able to work on our motor mounts. Are you fixing? You fix it. Yeah, that, you show it. Anyways, this set screw that's holding this pulley on the shaft is 1/8 inch head, and is a little less inclined to move than I'd hoped, and wants to strip out a little bit. So I'm thinking I may have to heat that up with a torch a little bit, just to convince it to come where it's supposed to come to. So before you heat anything up, you want to apply a very generous coating of WD-40. Just think of it, you know, as taxpayers' money, and you're the Liberal government. Just go ahead and just get it on there. And then we'll let it soak for a couple minutes, and then we'll try that. And if that doesn't work, then we'll go ahead and get it heated up. So just like Liberal spending, the WD-40 did nothing. So I'm just gonna cook the living daylights out of this for a couple of minutes, try and get it nice and hot. I'm thinking that set screw that's in there is going to be toast. I've got a couple more in one of my tickle trunks. Hopefully I can have a replacement for it, because if I can't get it out, chances are I'm not going to be able to get it back in tight enough to keep this pulley on the shaft. Okay, so desperate times call for desperate measures. The 1/8 inch Allen wrench that I have is just going to go around and around on this thing. So what I have is a number 2 Robertson bit with the extension tool for my cordless impact. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that in there like that. Charlotte, come tap that with the hammer. Come hit it with a hammer. Oh, that's my thumb. Good job. And then we're going to put the cordless impact on there and see if we can't just make magic happen. I don't think we're making any headway here. I think we're just burning up perfectly good screwdriver heads. Well, they say if you can't get it loose, just use a bigger hammer. Well, I've run out of bigger hammers before. I eventually just do some real damage to a piece that I still need to keep. I've even tried so far as to heat it up and jam like a Torx bit like this. It's kind of like a star shape, a larger Allen head, or even a number 3 Robertson, and pound it in there and get that impact, the wall impact on there, and get it to do something to no avail. So I'm gonna switch tactics, and I'm actually just gonna drill the set screw out like that, and then hopefully I can chase it with a thread chaser and still be able to use this pulley. If not, well, I guess I'm back to the drawing board. Well, it turns out drilling isn't the answer either. Whatever set screws are made of, it's like, I don't know, it's kryptonite or whatever it is. It's substantially harder than any of the drill bits I have. But I was able to definitely make a dent in it. And now it's just gonna be a matter of getting rough and rowdy and doing all the stuff I didn't really want to have to do, because I don't want to damage this pulley or the shiv, because that's a piece I want to be able to reuse. And I don't have a gear puller or a pulley puller. I think that's what it's even called. A pulley puller? I think it's a gear puller. Anyways, I don't have one of those. So I'm just going to try and get this off. And no pun intended, I'm going to try and beat it off without blowing it up. So I was able to force the pulley off of the shaft with the big 2-foot pin bar. That's the solution to everything, right? So now that I've got it off, I did put my number 3 Robertson head in here, and just to see, because if there's no pressure on this keyway being exerted by the shaft, maybe, just maybe, it'll spin out and I won't have to do anything drastic with thread chasers and things like that. There you have it. All that trouble for that little wee thing. Oh no, wait. Huh, that's only half of it. The other half is snapped off inside here. Lovely. So, yeah, it looks like I am drilling it out after all. You fixing? Anyways, but now we're on to the motor mounts here. So there is a bolt that runs through and a nut underneath. And there's 4 of them, a couple in the back, a couple in the front. We'll get those, and then this motor will actually just basically pluck right off of there. What's on your face? What's on your face? Is that grease? You keep fixing. I tell you, whoever the people are that put stuff and attach it to other stuff, when they put this thing in there, they sure didn't think about guys with big hands and using small wrenches and having big knuckles for lots of skin to rub off. Or maybe they did. Okay, so we got all our mounting brackets off, I think. I should be able to just reach in there. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and easy. It's a lot heavier than the other one. I'll set that one aside. Now that can go to the junk pile instead of that whole thing over there. I'll get this new one. And hopefully it'll just slide right on there. Give or take an inch. It'll take some fine positioning, I think, here. Oh man, that thing looks much better already, and I don't even have the bolts tight. What do you got there? Big pry bar. So this next part here was complicated. We'll call it complicated because I could not remember how the belt came through here or how any of these pulleys were configured or any of the springs. And it's funny because when I was disassembling it, I was thinking, man, I should really take a picture of this. But I didn't. And I don't know why I didn't. Maybe it was pride. Maybe I thought, you know what, whatever. It'll be fine. It's how many moving parts could possibly be there? But this actually, to get this configured properly, took me longer than it should have. Probably over an hour. Now, one slight change. So this is the reverse pulley here. And what I've actually done, you'll see that there's no belt on the reverse pulley. I've taken it off. It's not that I don't want reverse, but with this different engine on here, when the reverse pulley is activated, it actually hits right there on the actual shaft of the engine. Can't have that. Now, maybe down the road, I'll do a modification to here so that there's clearance. But that won't be done today. What I want to get done today is get that belt guard back on, get it topped up with oil, get fuel in it, and get it running to make sure that this thing even works. And if it works, great. then I'll look at having to make any modifications to make all the bells and whistles function. One thing I also did is I had to move this cable, add a little bit less slack on the cable, I guess, so that the idler pulley would come up and actually tension this belt properly. So other than that though, it seems to fit. So I'm gonna get the belt guard on, get it filled up with oil. I got some 5W30 Yamaha motor oil. I don't know what this didn't even come with oil. Usually you buy a brand new engine, it'll be shipped without oil, and that's perfectly normal. But quite often it'll come with an actual jug of oil of the right volume and everything. So, and I can't find the manual anywhere, so I don't know what I did with the manual, but that's fine. I'll get it topped up, get it fired up, and hopefully it doesn't blow up. So I got the belt guard on, and one little field amendment I had to make right here. This is where the original hole was. This is where I misjudged it to be. And this is where the bolt actually lines up to be now on the motor. It's down and back about 3/4 of an inch, but that's fine. Everything's on there secure. I've added my oil, and now I'm just gonna pull the pull cord over a few times, just get all that oil circulating around that engine everywhere it needs to be. And then I'm going to top up the fuel here and get this baby fired up. So I went ahead and added my fuel to the tank, and while I was doing that, I tried to spill as much as I possibly could on and around the rototiller itself. But we'll get the cap closed up here, and I actually didn't fill the tank right up. A couple reasons for that. If this doesn't work and I need to yank this motor off, why do I want to have to deal with all that extra weight? Why do I want to have to deal with pulling fuel lines and trying to drain it back into other jugs? If I could keep it in the jerry can, that'd be a lot better. The other reason being is that it's the end of December. I'm not going to be using this thing anytime soon. So any fuel that goes in there, chances are is going to get a little bit stale by springtime. So I don't want to leave a whole bunch in there. And so if I just use just enough to get it running, make sure it actually functions, then in the spring I can top it up with fresh gas and we'll be in business. But now, get the choke on, fuel on. We'll see if we can't get this thing turned over. I was not expecting that on the first pull. But hey, I'm happy. So I don't know if you noticed what I noticed there, but when I let go of the actual, whatever this is called here, the tines did not quit turning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this belt guard one more time, because I did take up a little bit of that slack in the cable. I think I took up a bit too much slack. So I'm going to put a little bit back in. We're going to fire that thing back up, and then we'll try that again. Reason being, in the field, when I go to use this, and I let go of that, I don't want to make sure that if I'm letting go of that because there's fingers or toes or donkeys or kittens or whatever tangled up in here, that stops 100% of the time. I cannot afford to have these things continue to spin when I let go of that lever. So a huge safety factor there. I'm going to want to make sure I get right. Well, there you go. That's how you can breathe new life into an old rototiller. You know, like I said, it cost me $25 to buy the machine at the sale that one day. Put a new motor in for just shy of 60 bucks. So for $85, got a fully functional rototiller. Even the tines stop when they're supposed to stop. So I would call that a win, because like I said, a brand new one starting at around $500 to $600, and got this all rigged up for under 100 bucks. So I'm pretty happy. Anyways, I better let you go for now, because it's dark out. So I better get myself a cup of tea and get tucked into bed, because it's a big day coming tomorrow as well. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.